Okay. I've done a little bit of sort of smoothing and working of the character to get him looking a little bit nicer. Still probably needs work, but what we'll do now is we'll get the hand going and started. So I'm just going to make a cube here, and we'll sort of line this cube up. And I think I might go, we could do 8 sides around on the finger. We could do 4. 4 tends to be a little bit easier to start, so maybe we'll start there. Sort of get this place a little bit here. I might ignore some of that for now. Okay. We've got the little bit of a palm kind of going. And now I'm just going to duplicating that finger. And I'm just going to set up some of the length of these fingers will be off, but I'm just going to start to set up some basic fingers here, and that also just looks way too long, but start to get the basic fingers in here. We'll rotate it a little bit to give us some space. This one in there. Rotate that a tidbit. There, and then this will be our thumb. And let's take a look at our image here. So now this is putting the thumb, kind of a little bit lower, and we don't have all that much geometry. So what I'm going to sort of do here is we'll pull this up and just kind of line this up such that we can maybe utilize the edges that already exist here. And we're going to sort of plan to put an edge loop through the middle of the hand here. And obviously it's good. I haven't done a lot of shaping on the entirety of this hand. And that is a bit long, but we'll sort of start to stretch it out. Okay. So we've got our, once you get the basic hand in place, now we can go about the process of preparing our geometry, starting to combine things, and then sort of merging or using append to poly for them. So I'm going to grab my edge loop tool and I'm going to put an edge loop in between the fingers here, like that. We know we're going to eventually need to delete those faces, and it's going to be the same for these front faces here and for our fingers. I'm going to combine our fingers for now, just so we can go through kind of quickly and delete them. Cool. Let's turn on our wireframe shaded view right here with this button so we can get a look at things. And now we'll just combine these two pieces, mesh, combine. We'll need to combine them in order to use our append to polygon. And now we'll just go mesh tools, append to polygon. We'll left click on one side, left click on the other side, hit enter. Once you've done one, you can hit G to redo. And I'm just going to hit these major spots here, and we can work our way around, and then we'll come back and get in between the fingers. If you did 8 sides around on the finger, getting the in-between part here can be a little bit tricky, because you won't have all the geometry you need. So you kind of have to like create a triangle like that, and then that'll give you the space you need, and then you can delete this edge, which I'd recommend deleting through delete edge vertex, and then you can sort of build across as you need to. So just a little bit more work or cleanup if you decide to go 8 around. Cool, so we've got it attached. Again, like we've got still very blocky, and sometimes getting a little bit of shaping in here prior to adding more geometry can sometimes be helpful. So we're going to throw an edge loop in here and here, and this will be to set up for the thumb. And we could sort of connect it to this whole thing, but we may also want to throw an edge here, and then we could connect it to just part of it. Let's, maybe for the time being, we'll just connect it to the whole thing. So we'll use our append to polygon tool. We'll sort of connect that. And our append to polygon tool is definitely sort of getting an edge here towards the beginning of the finger that we might not necessarily need or want, or you may want to keep it, and you could always put one in or two in for your knuckles on the fingers. Cool. And then I'm going to throw one going across there. And now we've got a pretty awful looking thumb going right now. But now, just like what we did with the character, we've got the base part of it sort of set up and going. And now we can go about trying to make it look just a little bit nicer, a little bit more rounded. So maybe we'll just do a little bit of quick movement, quick rounding here, just to get an idea. Oops. And then we'll combine that to our wrist. Here, and I'm also just double clicking. If you double click and an edge, you can grab that like whole edge ring, which is nice. I think I may have mentioned in one of the earlier videos, like if you can get pretty good at knowing what to select and just selecting things quickly, it definitely helps with the speed, which can help you get better. Okay. Let's see here. Maybe we could also probably throw one more through here, and then we could utilize that to maybe give ourselves maybe a slight indentation here, and this could probably use a bit more as well. Whoops, lots of shaping that could be done here, for sure. Oops. Also a thing to sort of look out for sometimes when you do marquee select, or if you're selecting faces in order to extrude stuff, you want to be careful that you're not like selecting things behind what you're meaning to select. So we'll get that there. Still lots to do. And if you are familiar at all with ZBrush or Mudbox, or you're very curious about it, you know, we could always bring this in and we could move some verts around. Inside of ZBrush or Mudbox, and not necessarily subdivide, which is a nice way to sometimes help with shape, especially if it's organic. Cool. Okay, so we got it sort of going. Still looks terrible, but we got it kind of going. So now I'm going to combine these two pieces, so I need to get rid of these faces on the inside here. So we'll get rid of that. Now I've got that geometry cleared on both sides, so I can select both of these. Go to Mesh, Combine, and now I can start to merge verts. I did the append to polygon before. I think what I'll do now is we'll move verts, and then we will merge verts, which is sort of the other way that you can move things into position or combine them. So to move this, a quick and easy way to do that is if I hold down V as in Victor, and I'm sort of tapping the V key right now so you can see it kind of pulsing. If I hold it down and I just move it to the vert I need, it'll just move it right there. And you're going to see as I start to move some of these into place that we've got more on the hand than we do we've got more on the hand here than we do on our wrist. Now, what you might be inclined to do is to put another edge loop in, but we've got really nice edge flow going, and if we were to just put an extra one in here to compensate for that, I mean, you might be able to use that, but you're going to end up putting like 8 in here, and you know it's going through the leg. We don't really need that. So what we're going to do is we're going to collapse a couple of edges, and if you ended up doing 8 sides around on your finger, then you definitely want to do this, because otherwise you would have just so much geometry going through the body that you wouldn't need. So what we're going to do now will help preserve some of our edge flow. So the way it works is I'm just going to select an edge here, and I'm going to go to Edit Mesh Collapse, and what that does is it sort of just brings it removes the edge and brings it together as if it's merging that vert, and then we can just move that to where we need it to. So let's do that here as well. Edit Mesh Collapse. We'll go to vertex mode. We'll just move that vert, and we'll do it here. I've got a shortcut here. Here's my collapse, and we'll need it here as well. And we'll just move that in place. Cool. And I don't completely have them merged yet. In order to see it better, I'm going to turn on my border edges, and we'll up our edge width so we can sort of see it. I'm going to go to vertex mode. And there we go. We've got our hand attached. Still needs a little bit more shaping, but you know, that's okay. And the thumb, it actually looks ridiculously gigantic. Let's maybe pull it in a little bit. Maybe pull it up here too. Cool. So that should get us sort of going, and get it in place a bit. Get our hand going. So I'm going to leave it there for now. Maybe I'll do another little speed up, possibly on the thumb here, so you can sort of maybe, or on the hand, so you can see me sort of make it a little bit more presentable. And in the next video, I'll UV this guy, and we'll mirror him over for sort of the final time, and then after that we'll get to texturing. So until the next video, bye.